Michael Cohen sentenced to 3 years. What do you make of that?
It's about right. It was the low end of the guidelines. He provided information, but the Southern District did not view him as a cooperator. But again, Martha, it's the same fact pattern. Michael Cohen, the folks who thought he was a liar the day before he pled guilty, and then they think he's the most important witness in the world the day after he pleads guilty. I can just tell you, a jury's not going to believe someone like Michael Cohen. So if your case hinges upon the credibility of Michael Cohen, good luck.
So it sounds like when you look at these sentencing memos that came out on Friday and the new information that we have today with regard to Michael Flynn and Michael Cohen, what's your overall impression of the Mueller investigation and how it's going for Robert Mueller?
Well, I go back to what we asked him to do, which is find out what Russia did. And until he writes that report, that definitive report, unfortunately for him, no one is interested in that part of his report, except maybe a handful of us. They're all on this breathless indictment watch. I mean, it is stunning that people are reading under black redacted lines, hoping that there is something that implicates the President of the United States. So they've lost interest in what Russia did. That was what he was asked to do. And then the throwaway line was, oh, by the way, if there's criminality, we want to know about that, too. I'm really interested in what Russia did in 2016. I'm also interested in the criminality, but what I've seen so far are false statements, bank fraud, and Comey admitted last Friday, collusion's not a crime, no matter how badly CNN and the Democrats want it to be. Collusion's not a crime.
You heard from James Comey last week, and then he will be back on December 17th. When he came out, he was very upset that that was not an open forum. And when he came out and talked to reporters, he said that. He said there's no reason why this shouldn't have been an open forum. He also said that the suggestion that there was FISA abuse in the initial stages of the investigation into the Trump campaign and any connection to Russia was ridiculous, absurd, I think is the word that he used.
You know, Martha, I was disappointed in what he didn't remember, but I was much more disappointed in what he never knew. The head of the FBI has the campaign of a presidential candidate under investigation. He never read the initiation document, didn't know that Peter Strzok had signed it. Still to this day doesn't know that it makes reference to the Trump campaign. He just thinks it's 4 individuals, doesn't know who Christopher Steele is, doesn't know much about Bruce Orr, knows nothing about efforts to either corroborate or contradict the dossier. Doesn't agree that there's a duty to produce exculpatory information. You know, I asked him, when did you learn that the DNC was funding the Oppo research into Trump? Oh, I don't know. As if it doesn't matter. Well, if you know and you're not telling a judge, I mean, don't you think it's relevant? Hey, my political enemies are responsible for everything I'm giving you, or a third of what I'm giving you. A judge wants to know that. So Comey is one of the best I've ever seen at always being right in his mind. And it doesn't matter if he's a universe of one. When you write a book about ethics and morality, that in and of itself is a fairly high opinion of yourself thing to do. Comey just thinks he's always right, and it doesn't matter if Horowitz thinks he's wrong, and it doesn't matter if everyone else concludes he did wrong. He knows better. So that's what it's like to interview an amnesiac with incredible hubris.
Do you believe that he functioned as a political FBI director?
I think Jim Comey was primarily motivated by a desire to protect the brand of Jim Comey. I defended him a lot in 2016, even when it was lonely to do so. I would still defend him today if I thought he was making right decisions. But he's been so overtly partisan since he left. Not just president, but he wants people to vote Democrat. He wants a Democrat House. He's just become a political flunky. And it's the same guy in this very room that you or I in right now said the FBI doesn't give a hoot about politics. And yet Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Baker and McCabe, that's who was running these 2 major investigations. And he wants us to believe they don't care about politics. Go read the text for yourself. Go read Comey's Twitter feed and see whether or not he cares about politics.
What did you think of the scene in the Oval Office yesterday When President Trump was talking about how he wants to build the wall, he said, I'd be proud to shut down the government over the issue of border security. It means that much to me. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer very much wanted to take that conversation private, didn't want to debate it in front of the public.
For people who like transparency, there it is. At first, I wasn't sure if I was watching Fox or watching professional wrestling. I've never seen, I've been around a long time. I've seen those conversations back in judges' chambers. I've seen them where, there are no cameras. I've never seen it like that. And it was clear to me that Leader Pelosi did not want to have that conversation in public. But if you're interested in a framing of the issues, the president believes that the wall is inextricably intertwined to border security. And the Democrats are trying to convince you that they believe in border security but not a wall. What I would love for the president to have asked yesterday is, at one point you voted for the wall. What changed? Why was it a good idea 5 years ago, but now it is xenophobic and racist and not reflective of our values? What, other than the fact that I championed the idea, what has changed? Do
you think it was a political mistake for him to say that I'll own that shutdown? That, if that's what you want, I'm happy to own it.
I think I think there's a pretty good chance they were going to call it the Trump shutdown no matter what he said. Now, Republicans also need to come up with a response that you haven't spent the money we've given you already. That's a pretty good counter talking point. Right. We gave you 1.6. What have you done with that? So it's good. I don't think there's going to be a shutdown. I didn't think there was going to be one. I'm not sure right now.
Nobody is. We'll see what happens.